attention span is not really front and center.
Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. I have with me a gentleman by the name of Jared Rand. We at On Passive have a crowdfunding platform called Bless, and we want to raise money for various different projects. We know that with our CEO behind us, we're going to help an awful lot of people. Jared has some technology that I'd like him to explain to us that will certainly help the entire planet and all humanity. So take it away, Jared. Please, if you'd introduce yourself and let us know a little bit more about it.
Well, thank you, Andy. Thank you for having me here. Just for the audience or the people that listen to this that may not have seen my lectures or presentations through the years, is that the celestial chamber is not a it wasn't created here on this planet. It's an off-world technology. So the celestial chamber is a reatomization technology. And what that means is, to put it really simple, put it in simple terms, is that if you could take a 90-year-old man or woman, the unit would scan them. We use a 6-dimensional holographic imaging display. And our AI database is massive. And so it analyzes and evaluates the human body in its current state, down to the worm, if you will, the quantum quark of the atoms. And it identifies any anomaly. We call it anomaly. People on this planet call it, dis-ease or something broken or that's happening with the body. And it will analyze the body in one pass. So understand, it's only a 3-minute process. So, it's not one of these things like some of these med beds that they're talking about out there that, it's going to take so many weeks to do this and, so many days to do that. This is a 2-pass process. What it does is it analyzes the body, gives us a menu, exactly what's going on with the body. And then in the second pass, it goes through a reatomization process beyond the cellular level. And within 3 minutes total time, that 90-year-old man or 90-year-old woman is perfectly healthy with an advanced immune system. And also they have youthful. So 90 can be 30, 90 can be 25. We've had inquiries where people wanted to be a lot younger, but we've said to them, who's gonna take care of you? Well, I'll already have my life experience. Well, I understand that, but you want to be a 6-year-old boy, that's going to be a tough one. So there are parameters, so the silliness doesn't take place. But sure, there isn't a technology on this planet that does this. And we're not going to see, now this is another twist that I've said in some of my other presentations, is that we won't charge money for this. This is a different perspective on this planet. The old Earth depicts capital gain, monetary gain, and then eventually it goes into power and control. And that's why the planet is in the condition it is in currently, with the civilization and everything happening. So in the new Earth, which is a higher frequency, which we're gearing towards, is anybody that needs access to this will have access to it. If we have a trillionaire or billionaire, which we have been contacted by, of course they won't fund us, which is really interesting, but they want to, just one eye open, kind of like saying, well, we would like to, if we need to use it, how we do that? And I'll say, well, we'll let you know, because we haven't built it yet. That's why we're looking for funding. So in this way, a lot of the people that would be left out in the cold, so to speak, on a lot of other introductions throughout the ages on this planet will have access. And see, the celestial chamber will not allow anybody, any of our technologies, will not allow anybody to do anything with our technologies that will cause harm to the civilization or the environment. So if they do try to use it in nefarious ways, it will completely shut down.
Okay, so this can cure basically any illness.
It eliminates any abnormality, which is illness in the body. If our immune systems were at peak performance, we would not get sick. Currently on this planet, roughly speaking, there's 12.5% of us have super immune systems. They never get sick. They never get diseases. The rest, of course, have very highly compromised immune systems. The celestial chamber does is when it reatomizes the body, it supercharges the immune system permanently. So it brings it up past the level that it normally should be on this planet, which it's not, and only 12.5% of the population. So what we're looking at is that the reatomization process, you become super immune, where you will not contract any disease or virus, period, ever, as long as you're in that body. So this means anything, people who have had strokes, people who have had, previous damage, organs removed, plates put in their bodies, their heads. A lot of people have steel plates, spinal injuries where you have titanium bolts and plates, anything that man-made, defibrillators, pacemakers, colonoscopy, where they take a colonectomy, they take the colon part, put a bag on. Blind people that were blind from birth, type 1 diabetes, all the autoimmune diseases, brain situations, veterans who have issues with the emotional aspects of trauma of PTSD will be eliminated. They won't have PTSD. People who have had their legs blown off or lost limbs. See, the interesting thing about the celestial chamber, there are technologies that can grow limbs back, but it takes a while. And this process is quite tedious. And then you have rehab because that limb has not been used. It's kind of like infancy. So you've really got to go through rehab to build the muscle, to get that limb strong so that you can coordinate with the body and get used to using that limb. With the reatomization with the celestial chamber, the limb is like it was before it was gone, but much healthier.
Right.
So, our brain capacity, there's so many things that I don't really communicate because there's things that we just won't talk about, but it just so people understand, to wrap your mind around this is difficult because this civilization has not really been exposed to anything like this. And people, it's pretty normal to have people say, well, this is, it's a joke, it's not real, so on and so forth. And I've heard that for years. We've been carrying this technology for 40 years. And we've got a lot of stories. So, but our whole point of this is to save lives on this planet and end the pain and suffering. The celestial chamber will do that. It'll do it in a very short period of time. And that's another important factor. And, you have people, we have people that their bodies don't cooperate. Their age, the age factor, our bodies rot is what happens. They deteriorate. And so when we put them in the celestial chamber, that won't happen ever again. We can adjust the physiology so that the body is immortal, the flesh, the tissue is immortal. It won't, even the brain won't become stagnant or stale. In some instances, with other technologies, the problem is that after about 1,000 years, the brain becomes stale. And that's a difficult situation. Not with the reatomization of the celestial chamber. So your brain stays young for as long as you're in that body, and you don't age. Now, if you want to age slowly, we can adjust it so you age very slowly. But we have the different avenues to implement for that particular person. So we have counseling, we have a group of people that will sit with them and go over everything. They can actually design the cosmetics of their body in the counseling room. We have a 60 array generator that is connected to the AI in the chamber. And this AI, we call it AAI. So it can't progress to become self-aware. It has duties, so it's more passive, and it has duties that it is given, and that's all it spends its existence with are those duties, and that is reatomizing body, the human body. We can reatomize pets, we can reatomize, plants, anything with cellular structure, and anything with molecular structure. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like a Homo sapien, which is a human hybrid. It could be just many different flavors.
Okay, so what sort of cash are you looking to try and raise to complete this task?
Well, we've got, we're trying to get a base of operations so that we can get some kind of structure going. And that hasn't been we have a fundraiser going, but it's only produced about 5.6% of the 1.5 mil that we need for a kind of a makeshift base of operations. Once we have the base of operations, we're talking about our first year will be over 500 million. Our initial,
you need to raise over 500 million.
Yep. And our initial of 60 million sets up our lab facilities in a few real estate areas and our security is astronomically expensive to protect our team, our core group. So yeah, there's a lot involved and there's the unknown. So we start with 1.5 million to see if we can get a makeshift base of operations going before we do anything else. It's interesting. We've been working on this for a long time. So it's not like it's spur of the moment, fly by the seat of your pants. We've looked at many different avenues in our structure, human resources, our administration wing, our technology area, our IT. We have all the people that have gathered, so to speak. And so now we need to have a makeshift base of operations so we can start facilitating a few things and get going in that direction. We can have a makeshift lab, which then, we're raising out of the 60 million to get some kind of a makeshift lab going so that we can start putting pieces together of the celestial chamber. And as you well know, a prototype doesn't have, it's kind of like the guts of the system. It doesn't have the cowling yet or any of those pieces.
Okay,
but,
so you've got all the blueprints ready. It's just a case of raising the cash and being able to build this thing.
Yeah, that's the frustrating part because we have everything at the ready. But as you well know, there's no way that anybody's going to get anything running on this planet unless they have ample funding, financial support in order to launch and do it. You're just chasing your tail.
It's not just that though. It's outside influencing.
Yes,
and people pushing it to one side type touch, but also the more powerful corporations thinking, well, this will close us down. There will be no need for us. So, okay.
So and I've just given just a brief view of it. I think we've had a lot of good responses from people comprehending what this is really about, what it does. And I've done some pretty detailed presentations in different parts of the world that we have on our website that you can grab and get. And
okay, so your website is weareonelightforall.net, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
They can go in there and they can listen, watch, whatever they want. And we have all the lectures and all the presentations that I've been doing for the past 5 years.
I've been listening to a lot of the calls, the recorded calls that you've made. Very interesting, and I'm taking advantage of a couple of the products myself.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, it's fascinating and really intriguing. And as I said, we have this opportunity with On Passive. Our CEO is a man for humanity as well. He's not interested in being the next Mark Zuckerberg or Jeff Bezos. He wants to help humanity, and this opportunity that we have will hopefully allow us to be able to fund many projects over the coming years. Okay, so if for argument's sake you were able to raise the initial sum required, how long would it take to implement or put this a celestial chamber into operation?
For the prototype, once we had the appropriate funding, we could have it. That's bringing everybody, the people, our core group out, which is about a dozen, and we get them out and work. We could do it a minimum of 9 months from that stage forward to 18 months. It just depends on our security protocols and what we're able to implement in a short period of time. Our main push is the celestial chamber, and we're not. How do I put it? We're not going to be in a conventional inline manufacturing as we thought to begin with, because we have another technology, which once we have the prototype done, we can then feed the data into the AI of the broad range replicator and then produce a prototype. We can then replicate all of our technologies within minutes. So it expedites the opportunity to get this out to the civilization of the planet a lot faster. Our mode of transportation, let's just say that we do have information that we can replicate so that our transport is a lot quicker on the planet.
Okay. And why is this technology being given to us now? Is there a specific reason for now, or was it just too soon before? Were we not far enough advanced, or what was the reasoning behind it?
I'm sure you know this, but the civilization itself is mixed in many versions and combinations. I mean, we have the regular human is the minority on the planet, and then we have the Homo sapien, which is Homo meaning human hybrid meaning sapien, Homo sapien sapien. So you go into human hybrids, and then you start realizing that we're a mixed match. And what happens here is that there's an effort from some energies on this planet to eliminate the population, period. It's pretty much in everybody's face now. But the sickness and what they've caused as far as the deterioration of physical form on this planet is horrendous. And the civilization, because of its mental status and its physical status, is nearing a point of extinction. And the first step of extinction is when the social structures, values, understandings, comprehensions, and forward progression working as one is eliminated, then the cultures begin to break down and disintegrate slowly but surely, generation after generation. And on this planet, that's where it's at right now. It would just take a little bit of a push to just put this civilization into an extinction phase. And as a matter of fact, because of what has been done to our atmosphere and our oceans and our food supplies over a long period of time. This is cumulative. We have an atmosphere that's about 16% oxygen, and about 600 years ago, it was almost 32% oxygen. So it's suffocating a civilization. There's a lot of other factors. Our food nutrition has absolutely been blighted. The body cannot get enough energy. This is why we have so much obesity and morbid obesity on the planet. So when we look at that, we look at those factors, and the civilization that approached us had something similar happen to their civilization. And they were given this technology. It's not new. It's new here, but it's not new throughout existence and throughout the universes. So, but we were asked, there is a planet, and I'm not talking about our soul spirit was in a different civilization, housing, so to speak, a different galaxy and a different universe. So they came to us and asked if we would like to take this responsibility and present it to the civilization of this planet. So obviously our first response is, why can't we just, create so many million of them and house them somewhere where they're not going to be violated, and then at a certain time we can start presenting them and getting them out. And they asked similar questions to the civilization that gave it to them, but they wanted us to have an intimate understanding of the technology and pass that knowledge to us, so that when we built this technology and the time would come where we would give it to another civilization, so we would have an intimate understanding and a great knowledge base of how it was put together, how it was actually brought into the light of this human civilization. And so we said, liberating planets, there are those out in existence that liberate planets, that help planets get on track and balance without really disturbing the delicate nature of the civilization. So this is probably the easiest way to do it in certain respects. Other ways, it's obviously challenging with the current condition of the planet. So this is being introduced to eliminate pain and suffering, as well as all starvation and lack of on the planet. It will say, now people, you understand where we're at with this, because broad range replicator will eliminate money. It'll eliminate finance. It'll eliminate all of this. And see, this civilization isn't, it will take a bit, probably at least a decade, for that to blend in, for people and the next generation to start comprehending what that means, with the understanding that they don't have to be fearful. No money. You won't need money. The replicator will produce anything you want it to produce, and better than you can grow or build yourself.
Okay, fantastic.
So this is the combination right here. Those two technologies are hand in hand. And when we introduce it to the planet, we've got groups literally all over the planet. We have China, Japan, different parts of Asia, Vietnam, Thailand. We've got Russia, we've got Ukraine, we've got Europe, England, France, Italy, Germany. So in other words, we will have the ability to deliver these units along with the replicators, so that they can, any technologies these groups have in their possession that they want to get out, they will be able to replicate all their technologies, which will expedite to the population of the planet faster than any way they have right now on this planet, distributing something to the population.
Fantastic. It's certainly something I'd love to get involved in, I must admit. Jared, thank you so much indeed for taking your time to give us today and give us a brief overview of this. As I said, what we'd like to do is to now share this amongst ourselves and build some like-minded individuals to join us. Thank you very much for that.
Well, I appreciate